stuff, and I think two part, like a private construction.
Are you still
truck
wearing your same
dumped its
clothes?
concrete debris onto the freeway, and I couldn't avoid it because
Sorry, Henry does that.
That's always a hint.
and the insurance company said,
Oh, legal counsel.
and the guy didn't say anything. Which is why it's happening, right? You know.
Did I hear my name or at least my title down?
You did, you did. I
I'm
had,
already in meeting mode, getting ready to listen.
I had,
The ears are full alert.
is, no, it does, it did move, but it needs, it won't move. It had a light here and it won't move. Kids got it.
I show 2 minutes.
does the city do a resolution?
We have 1 minute.
I know. The whole room goes dead. Need to play music.
How about water sounds,
Right?
waves crashing on the beach?
And I show 9:30.
Okay, good morning. We will call to order the regular board meeting of Western Municipal Water District at 9:30. Ms. Ford, may we have roll call, please?
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Director Gardner.
I am here.
Director Torres.
Here.
Director Dinstedt.
Present.
Director Risby.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, President Roten.
I am also here.
Thank you, President Roten. You do have a quorum today.
Thank you. And for the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to invite Nick Barnes, Construction Management Administrator in the Engineering Department, to lead us in the pledge. Can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, good morning. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
I'm Nick. I've been with Western going on 13 years. Was in operations until about 3 months ago, doing construction, all the work in the construction department, doing pipeline welding and all that really fun stuff. And I just moved over to engineering, took over. I'm sure you guys all knew Sergio. He retired and I took over his role. Yeah.
Very good.
All right, everybody stand. All right, ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to public comments. Do we have any public comments today?
President Roten, I received no written comments and I see no request to speak in the room.
Okay, thank you. Consent calendar. There are 4 items. Are there any questions or wanting to pull an item, or otherwise I will entertain a motion for approval?
Approval.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Whenever you're ready for the roll call.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
Aye.
Director Risby.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
okay. We'll move on to items to be added to the agenda. Mr. Barr.
President Roten, we have no items to add to the agenda. However, I'd like to alert the board to a change, a modification, and a correction. Although the item title for item 7B was correct on the published agenda, the text of the recommendation was incorrect. It has been corrected. You have copies on the dais of the new staff report. And the item will be corrected in the packet as soon as possible if it hasn't already been. If members of the public would like a copy of it, the board secretary has copies for them as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So that does take us to the action agenda 7A, award professional services contracts to 4 consulting firms for development services support for fiscal years 2025-26 and 2026-27.
This item did go through the Engineering Operations and Water Resource Committee, and I will call on Derek to actually go through this item.
Good morning.
Good morning, directors. So Western continues to experience steady development activity across its service area, particularly in the form of new commercial and residential construction. To ensure continued service quality and timely review of the developer's submittals, staff recommends awarding professional services contracts to 4 consulting firms to assist with development-related technical reviews. These consultants will provide plan check services, modeling, hydraulic modeling, pipeline and pump station design review, and general development support under each task order authorization. The 2-year contracts will cover fiscal years 2025 and 26, and then 26 to 27. And we'll be making assignments betwixt those 4 consulting firms as workload requires. So I just want to highlight that using external consultants in this manner allows Western to remain responsive to developer timelines without adding permanent staff or delaying district-driven priorities. Each firm was selected based on qualifications, experience with similar agencies, and prior performance. So the action requested is fourfold. First, approve a 2-year professional services agreement with Krager and Stewart of Riverside, California for up to $300,000 annually. Approve a 2-year professional services contract with GHD Incorporated of Riverside, California for up to $300,000 annually. Approve a 2-year professional services contract with Albert A. Webb Associates of Riverside, California for up to $300,000 annually. And approve a 2-year professional services contract with MKN and Associates of Irvine, California for up to $300,000 annually. That concludes my remarks, and I invite your questions.
I'll add to Derek's comments as well that, and this is listed in the budget impact statement, that this action is reimbursed by developers themselves. This does not cost the district any dollars.
I do have just a procedural question. If we need any of these consultants for any other services, environmental or anything else they might, do we just do, is there like a separate process for that?
Well, typically,
Just procedurally.
yeah, you're right. There would be a separate process. Let's say it's environmental services. Although they can provide those services, we typically do a separate contract for that. Typically, environmental services is CIP, and you'll see me in front of you asking for those contracts.
So you don't draw down on the 300?
Yeah, that's also that, and also when they propose, just to be fair to everyone, this is what you're proposing on. Now, that said, we do have, you know, some clauses in there, other duties and assigned, because we can't predict everything that's going to come up with the developer projects. And so if something does come up, let's say it's environmentally related and we're reviewing something that has an impact on us, then we would still lean on them to do that.
Thank you. I'll move the item.
Okay. A motion and a second. I do have one quick question. So I realize that it's the same amount for each of the 4 of these. So if for some reason we used up, say, one of them, the 300,000, then does that preclude them from doing any more of the work if they were determined to be the one that would be most suitable for it at the time? Or is this all pretty much equal work that they do in terms of type?
It doesn't always turn out to be equal. In some cases, we've come back to the board asking for a contract to be amended in the past. This time, when we've looked at the past, and we said, oh, in the last year, we've done this many projects. This is the amount we've spent each year on them, and so that's how we did all of our settings, and we hope it all comes out right.
Oh, okay.
But if it turns out to be one particular person, for whatever reason, has a development that's using a lot of money, it might go over on that one. So in that case, just to keep the same consultant on, we might have to come back and ask for an augment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. I think we're ready for voting.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
Aye.
Director Rizvi.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, directors.
thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item B, approve a capital project budget and payments for the Rainbow Service Area meter upsizing and fire service pump replacement project.
Before Derek gets started, I want to bring to the board's attention that during the committee, staff was asked about the source of funding for these projects. We did dig into it and we looked at it, and it has been corrected in today's staff report. Previously reported that it was coming out of the Riverside Fund. It's coming out of the Rainbow Fund. So thank you to Director Denstedt for bringing that to our attention, and we have since corrected it. So thank you.
Okay,
Go ahead, Derek.
Great.
thank you.
All right, so the Rainbow Service Area relies on Metropolitan Water District service connection for fire service and just day-to-day water needs. That's the sole way that water gets into that service area. It's one of our first service areas. It was established in the 60s. So that's our first retail service area. So a little bit of history about that. And that's why it has such a unique type of way of being serviced. we are requesting two issues before the board. One of them is that the existing service connection meter is undersized for today's demands and needs to be replaced with a larger unit. So we've been in talks with them, with Metropolitan Water District. You'll see that in the packet, the correspondence and the requested cost that Met is saying for doing that upgrade. And the second thing is that the fire pump is old and needs basically a upgrade. And so it's reached the end of its useful life and is no longer compliant with the current fire code. And some of the parts are unavailable. So what we're going to do is we're addressing that with this item of, one, upsizing the meter, and then secondly, doing some authorizing work to retrofit that pump. The obsolete pump will be replaced with a Tier 4 diesel engine-driven Peerless fire pump. That one matches the footprint and should be essentially an in-kind exchange. Therefore, what we're asking to do is have some of our in-house staff do some of that work for doing the upsize. And we're going to have some professional engineering services from Michael Baber for the design. And of course, we have to pay Metropolitan for doing their work. So the requests are fourfold. One is to authorize a budget for $412,000 for the project. Authorize the general manager to enter into a sole source agreement with Peerless Pump Company for the purchase of one diesel engine, a diesel engine-driven Peerless fire pump in the amount of $172,679. Authorize the general manager to enter into a professional services agreement with Michael Baker International for engineering services in the amount of $53,600. And 4, to authorize the general manager to approve change orders for up to $25,000 or approximately 15% of the professional services agreement amount. It's a little bit more than our normal contingency, but we wanted to make sure that we just get this done in one go. There could be some unknowns that we hit when we open up this old equipment and all that, and so we wanted to address that with a little bit larger contingency. So those are the requests, and I now invite any of your questions.
Okay, actually, I do have a question. So in your 4 requests, I'm looking at the corrected copy, and I'm, for some reason, not seeing those.
I'll read what we're requesting. Derek might not have the most recent copy. Approve a capital project
Oh, it's
budget of
on the last.
$412,000 for
Oh,
the
no,
Rainbow
this is
Service
it.
Area Meter Upsize and Fire Service Pump Replacement Project. Amend the board-adopted capital improvement and facilities plan for fiscal year 2025-2026 accordingly under the added facilities charge reserve. Authorize payment of $224,310 to the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California for upsizing the W13 connection meter, and authorize the purchase of a fire service pump from Multi-W Systems Incorporated for $100,125.
Okay. Do you have a question?
Yes. So it says that upsizing the Met meter facilities will require 4 to 6 months of effort. So they're doing the design, all the work is done by Met? How does that work?
Yes, so if you ask Met to work on their service connections, then they keep strict control of that, and they do that with their in-house folks. So that's everything up the meter until the valve, after they give it to us, is theirs,
Okay.
right? So they do the design. In this case, we're offering to do some of the field work out there, and so we're going to help them with putting in the meter, which is pretty easy because it's all above ground. And so that's unique. Usually Met will never let you touch their stuff.
Okay, okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes. My question is about the budget impacts on this. Do we have enough in the reserve fund to cover this expense, or is there ultimately gonna have to be interfund loan?
This service area is pretty small.
Right.
So no, it was in the plan, it's something that we would finance long-term. If this service area doesn't prove to be long-term, which is one of the
Right.
things we're looking at,
Right.
more likely than not, we would do an interfund loan and probably pay that off with property tax once everything was resolved, to be frank.
Okay. No,
So,
I
so,
just-
so there is funding. We were originally thinking it would be long-term debt that would get paid back by the customers there. But it's not there now, but it's part of the plan for long-term financing.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we're not gonna do some big, large jump in a rate increase to cover this, you know, because we've got, what, 20 or 30 accounts down there? That,
About 40.
so, yeah, so I just wanted to make sure we're not gonna have to make some mid-rate adjustment to cover and offset this.
No, we currently actually subsidize that area with property taxes to bring the rates on parity with the Riverside area. So when we talk about potentially using property taxes in the future, that's on par with what we're doing now to keep rates stable.
Okay, all right. And are we actually expecting it to take this long for the install if we're using in-house?
We hope to beat that date, but based on past experience, especially for metropolitan projects, we're trying to get some cushion to get it done.
Okay, and anybody from Michael Baker here?
We do not, because this was a smaller contract amount, so
Okay.
we didn't ask
All
them.
right. No, I just, you know, this obviously is a interesting area. It's got a lot of vegetation and things down there, so we want to make sure that got everything going. So I'm pleased to see that we're doing this.
I want to clarify something Derek said. Michael Baker's not involved in this project. This is a metropolitan project and a Western staff project.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure that. All right, so,
Yeah, apologize for that correction. We actually, as you can see, we made a lot of changes right before the meeting
okay.
because we melded two board items.
well, Derek, now
Yeah.
you have disillusioned me because I
Yeah.
thought you were reading these reports because you slept with them at night and they
He did,
absorbed into
changed in the
stuff.
morning.
So,
Yeah.
you know, so now we've got this whole other picture that we've got to paint. You know? All right, now,
I painted the picture, so.
okay. So it's Tim's fault, got it.
Yeah.
No, and if pleased to make a motion on this to move the item.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We're ready for the vote, please.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstat.
Aye.
Director Rizvi.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay.
Great.
we'll
Thank you,
move
directors.
on to- Thank you, Derek. We'll move on to reports. General Counsel.
Good morning. I have nothing today. Thank you.
Okay. And General Manager and Staff reports. Mr. Barr.
I will report that the general manager is not here, as you can see. We are well ahead of schedule, so I have a couple of pages of things I will report. Thank you. I have the honor to report that we have completed construction of Well 7. We completed it just a couple of weeks ago in advance of the grant deadline of July 31st. This was a long-coming project with a lot of challenges, both interagency challenges, regulatory challenges, environmental challenges, and logistical challenges. It was delivered under budget at about $7.5 million, and the estimate was $8.5 million. It had 8 separate board authorizations to get this project to the finish line. The project team navigated over a year of supply chain delays for the motor, pumping equipment, and electrical components. They resolved complex land restriction and longstanding title issues with the city of Riverside. They managed disruptions from underperforming consultants, environmental opposition, and adapted to the challenge. I'd like to offer a special thanks to the engineering, operations, and water resource team that got this to the finish line, and special recognition of Doug McCartney, the project manager, who I have heard from the teams delivered Herculean efforts to get this done, as well as Houdini-like magic to produce things when we couldn't find them. So really appreciate the team's teamwork on this one. It is a very successful project. The goal of Well 7 is to deliver locally produced water instead of Colorado River water to our non-potable customers. Potential project savings and we all know that there's challenges on the Colorado River, so that's a good project. We had 2 recent DWR visits. Last week, members of Water Resources, Operations, and Engineering took and hosted a tour for an individual from the Department of Water Resources to showcase the completion of our SARCUP projects. Again, completion of SARCUP projects. It's been 15 years coming to complete SARCUP. Western was the recipient of 26 of the $55 million in Prop 84 grant funds. So the DWR visit was the check the box. They've seen the project completed and therefore can finish awarding all of the grant dollars. So congratulations to the team for getting that done. Yesterday, Joel Metzger, he's the new Deputy Director of Statewide Water Resource Planning for the Department of Water Resources, was here. Sarah McDonald, Paul Rug, Michael Hadley and I discussed Western's local supply investments, discussed the challenges that we have, the partnerships we have to deliver local supplies to our customers, the importance of imported water to the region long-term, the critical challenges that we support on the State Water Project in the future, and we talked about, of course, SB 72, which Joel is a big supporter of. As he is responsible for the California Water Plan, that is a good thing for SB 72. We were supported by Larry Chanas out in the field and Dean Bradshaw, who helped bring to life the sites that we took Joel to. We took him to the La Sierra Reservoir so that he could overlook the terminal end of the Colorado River Aqueduct, something he wanted to see. He had never seen that before. He's a Central California, Northern California individual, so Southern California, and he admitted this, is quite foreign to him, so we educated him. We took him to Sterling, took him to the Victoria Recharge Basin and the Arlington DeSalter, and his comments via email late last night were that we have a very professional, very knowledgeable team here at Western, and we should be proud. So it was nice to host him. Anytime high-level members of the state want to come visit us, we will entertain that. The Krieger grant applications are now being accepted through October 31st. Grants up to $1,000 are available for water education projects and field trips to any K-12 school, public, private, or homeschool. Information can be found on the website. I found it by typing grant in the search bar, and it came up number 1. Since 1995, the program has helped K-12 teachers in Western Riverside County bring water-focused projects to their classrooms. This is not just for the retail area, it's for the entire wholesale area as well. So that's a big deal. Construction alerts. The first week of construction and traffic control for the Jefferson Interconnection and Pipeline Project to support the Murrieta Innovation Zone is happening. Staff is implementing a project outreach program and has included working closely with the City of Murrieta to communicate traffic needs and traffic control in place. The new clay well in Murrieta has been out of commission since December of 2024 because of a Packer issue. I am happy to report that the Packer arrived, it was damaged. We got a new one under warranty, it's back in place, and it was installed yesterday successfully. So we expect the new clay well to be back up online here in a couple of weeks. So that's good news. Last item I have, and Director Denstedt, I don't want to steal all of your thunder, but I have some positive metropolitan financial news that was reported, and the only reason I'm reporting it is because Western had a significant piece of this news. So Metropolitan staff presented their financial overview for fiscal year 2025. In general, they met budget targets and improved the health of their reserves, but mostly because of temporary savings and moving forward water sales through the reverse cyclic program. Western participated in the reverse cyclic program in a big way. We were the first one to send in our application, send in our interest, and we received about 11,600 acre-feet of water. It is because of the reverse cyclic program that they met their budgeted water sales, which is good news. So that's a positive thing. And with that, I'll take any questions. That concludes my report.
Any questions? No? Okay, thank you. Any other staff reports?
Nope, that's it.
We'll move to director comments and requests. SAPA, looks like there was a meeting.
SAPA met yesterday. They did a little bit of juggling of dollars in reserve accounts. They didn't increase the total dollars in reserve accounts as a result of the action, just kind of balanced them a little bit. And they authorized the general manager to execute a general services agreement and change order to a project, an Arundo eradication project in the upper reaches of the Santa Ana River Basin. That was before the SAPA Commission meeting prior, and one of the members, OCWD, had some concern about using Roundup as the herbicide or one of the herbicides that is applied because of the number of lawsuits that have been filed against the maker. Staff did additional research and came back recommending that we continue the program as it is. Roundup is authorized by the state. It's authorized by the local Regional Water Quality Control Board.
Interesting.
And it is applied according to all of the rules. And actually, the staff, not SAPA staff, but the people who are doing the application are exceptionally careful.
Yep.
Because they do this on a regular basis. So they want to avoid the possibility of cumulative buildup from multiple exposures. So that was approved. OCWD did vote no on that, but it was 4-1 otherwise. And then the big news is in closed session, the SAPA Commission determined to offer the full-time executive director job to Karen Williams, and she agreed to stay on through the end of 2027. I've been tabbed as the person to negotiate salary and benefits with her. That will happen this week, and then General Counsel will draft a contract for consideration by the full commission at its next meeting. And that's it for SAPA.
Wow, lots of stuff. Just to segue a little bit, I was at the Norco Chamber breakfast this morning, and Emily Fuentes from SAPA presented.
Oh, good.
And got a lot of great questions. She talked about the Climate Action Resiliency Plan.
Yes.
Do I have that?
CARP.
CARP, yes. And had us do the QR code to get onto the survey. And I guess we were the first presentation that she's done on this, for this campaign. She used to work at JCSD, and she's very knowledgeable and a good presenter, and so that was interesting to hear. And I love to see the faces around the table that are trying to piece together all the puzzles of water, because they know that they get their water from Norco, but then they know I'm at the meeting for Western, and then they're like, but wait, now who is this SAPA person? So it was a nice tie-in, and anyway, she did a great job. So I thought you'd appreciate knowing that.
That's great. I'll pass that on. Thank you.
Okay. Brenda, Metropolitan.
Oh, yeah.
I see like about a 200-page PowerPoint over here that you're looking at.
So the board packet for this last meeting was 2,918 pages, I think it was.
Oh, small one.
Yes, yeah, so, why not? A couple of big things. So the reason that the meeting is delayed by a week in August is so we can get the assessed values from all of the 6 counties so that we can vote and see what the voting share changes are based on those assessed values, and establish ad valorem rates and do all of those things for the upcoming tax year. Our voting share increased slightly while others decreased slightly. Foothill lost some stuff there for sure because of the fires, and Los Angeles went down. we ultimately increased by a very small portion, so we're now at a 3.88 voting share out of that. So we're still the 7th largest voting share on Metropolitan's board. Nobody gained an additional. Once you hit 5%, you increase your voters by 1. And so there was no change in representation from any of the agencies this year. There is a notation, though, that Central Basin did continue to hold at the 4.99, but because of legislation, because they were over the 5, you can always gain and only gain, you can never lose. So even if they held and keep dropping down on their percentage share, they'll still continue to have 2 directors on that voting pool. So, yeah, I know. Legislation, what can I tell you?
So would that not be the same for the ones affected by the fire?
Correct, if they had 2 directors,
If they had
if they
Okay.
were up to the 2 for
Okay,
the
got it.
5%, then they would have kept them. They wouldn't have lost, but they lost just because of the assessed value. They don't, but they'll never lose a director. So I think San Fernando is the smallest voting percentage, and they're like at a 0.07 or something on the voting, because, and they don't take any water. They don't take any water out of there. So they have connections, but they don't take any water. So, just kind of a interesting little side fact. Yes, so a number of different things. So one of the things that I wanted to highlight during this discussion, and this, of course, will probably keep up our CFO at night, is to try to think about and have all the conversations over the upcoming CIP and all of the things that we found out that we're behind on, and how this new picture is being painted for us at Metropolitan of how we've delayed, kicked the can down the road, and now we've come to a position where we are really far behind. So much so that I think staff had said we need to do like over 100 projects in order to keep up. And with just replacement and O&M, just all kinds of different things. Here is a couple of interesting facts, just to give a quick little overview that I thought was really interesting, and this is why I sent this and had Tammy print this up for me. So there are 830 miles of distribution pipelines, 79 miles of canals, 218 miles of tunnels, siphons, and conduits, 450 chemical and auxiliary storage tanks, 11,500 water regulating valves, 5,000 motors and pumps, 308 miles of power transmission lines, plus 1,200 high voltage towers, 500 buildings, shops, and other structures, and 1,000 miles of unpaved roads, which talks also about the 5 water treatment plants, 15 hydroelectric facilities, 6 pumping plants, 24 dams and reservoirs, and the demonstration for pure water. So what does this all mean? Well, we had staff do a little calculation, and much to my chagrin, the adjusted for inflation only replacement cost for new is $31 billion. Billion, that is with a B, that is not a typo, because that's why I made sure that when I fell off my chair at Met, I made sure I had the right numbers. The estimated replacement cost adjusted for code and environmental costs, okay, which was not in the original figure, is now $46 billion. So I share this with you because there are some significant challenges coming down the road with Metropolitan and being a member agency. This ultimately will affect us because it's going to affect the rates and how we proceed and what kind of monies and things we're trying to get after. And it's going to be about now timing. How do we do all this? Because obviously there's only so much bonding capacity. There's only so much that we can get in grant funding. There's only so much that we can do for financing and be as creative as we possibly can be. So I share this all with you just so that you understand what some of the challenges are. And for our planned and actual CIP expenditures in this biennium budget, we are at $636.48 million in this budget currently. So it's not like we're not doing anything, but it's a significant amount of money. And there's going to be some very big discussions over how do we figure out how to proceed and move forward? How do we figure out how to take care of facilities while trying to take care of water reliability, while trying to take care of water quality, while trying to take, so there's a lot of things that are on the front, getting ready to move, shake, and a lot of discussions that'll be coming forward. So, I will definitely be having some key conversations with internally here, certainly to talk with, and I'm sure our CFO is fully engaged at Metropolitan with all the other finance directors, because this is going to be a big issue, and it's a lot to take on. And with the fact that we're out searching right now for a general manager and we're getting ready to bring somebody in-house, this is a significant thing that they're going to have a vision and a plan for going forward of how to tackle it and what the next 10 years looks like, because most of these projects are going to take a while. This is not an overnight thing. I mean, it just isn't. And I just look at page after page, and this is why this was simply one presentation, one staffing thing over this is all the things that we need to look at, and this is what the cost is, and this is how far behind we are. So I just kind of share that with you. So this is what keeps me up at night, and this is what makes me have a cocktail on Monday night up in Metropolitan, because I just, it's a lot. It's a lot, and we have a significant lift, and so I just tell you to buckle up and get ready, because there's going to be a lot of things that are happening. And then there was something interesting, and I will share this with you, and I will share this with legal counsel. I couldn't get it off to Tammy in time, so I forwarded it to myself for the materials so I could share this, because it was a legal update, counsel, and I thought it was very interesting. While it doesn't directly affect us, we certainly should be very aware of this. And this was one of legal counsel's, under her reports of cases to watch. And apparently there was a case against the city of San Diego over rates and 218. And counsel, I don't know if you know anything about it or wanted to share, but there was something that was issued out by the appellate court, and they held the lower trial court's judgment, which was very interesting on two fronts. One, this particular case involved Prop 218 specifically, and single-family homes, single-family residences that were specifically put in their own tiers. And so there was over-collection and different penalties that were collected. And basically, the other thing that I thought was really interesting, which was also covered by and passed by SB 1072 in 2024 and was effective in January 1st of this year, was the fact that any overpayments under the Prop 218 and a legal challenge must be applied to credits to that customer's account. So it isn't actually a refund, but it is a credit that's placed on every over-collection for the account. So I just kind of thought it was interesting, and it's something that we should be aware of, so that when we have conversations with people and they hear about these things, they understand that, one, we're in compliance with 218, and we don't do those types of things. We've got tiered rates that affect everybody and across the board, and there's a specific way that and how we do it and go about it. So I just kind of highlighted that was interesting, and it was a site of discussion for us at Metropolitan.
If
So-
I can, just briefly, yes, that was another assault on tiered water rates by Prop 218 advocates. BBK did put out an email alert, so I can forward that to you, and if you're not signed up for those email alerts, the email will have information on how to do that, so that you can get updates when these cases come out.
Thank you.
It's also important to note that Rick has been following this, and he does provide us updates as well, and we are fully compliant.
Yeah, no, and I understand that we're fully compliant. I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing. You know, sometimes you want to hear about the hiccups from others so that we can certainly have a conversation and be prepared to say, no, here's why, and this is why Western is in compliance. And that's why I bring it to your attention, because this was kind of a big deal that kind of moved forward, and it was a significant point of discussion at Met, you know, for all the member agencies to kind of have that conversation. So, you know, and legal counsel puts out a huge 17-page report on all the monthly activities and all the things that were talked about. And, you know, Marcia Scully and her team does a tremendous job, and they just do great things in trying to defend all of these things and you know, the things that Metropolitan gets pulled into. So I just kind of wanted to share that.
Jeff, could you please forward that to the full board?
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, thank you.
I'll send it to all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, you know, these are just kind of the highlights of things. I'm happy to take up another 2 hours of the meeting if you'd like to talk about all the things that happened at Met, but, you know, this is kind of where we're at. We have second interviews that are prepared for next week on a Tuesday to interview for the top job, and that'll all be done in closed session, and we will see what comes out of it.
How many candidates did they whittle down?
We're interviewing 3 for a second interview, so we'll see what happens.
Good luck.
So that is my Met report.
Thank you very much. And we appreciate the condensing of the 2,000-plus pages.
And Ryan's probably looking at me going, but director, there was all this other stuff. Well, you know, it's only so much.
Okay. Chino Basin Water Master, I think that's next week, Mike?
The meeting is next week,
Yeah.
but a significant action
Oh.
was taken last week. There is something called the peace agreement, which expires in 2030. And there were various parties to the peace agreement. Watermaster is not a party to the peace agreement, but the members are many members. They were beginning to look at how to renew it and what to amend and what not to include anymore, and whether to amend it or leave it like it is. The peace agreement has built into it a unilateral right for either the appropriative pool or the agricultural pool to extend it for 30 years. And last week, the agricultural pool exercised that option and extended the peace agreement for 30 years. So it now goes to 2060. It doesn't have a lot of direct effect on Western. There are quite a few of the various other water master parties who wanted something different in it. And when the agricultural pool announced that they were unilaterally extending it, they said, we are open to discussion of any amendments that any party wishes to put forth, which was always there. So there's been a lot of speculation about whether the ag pool would do that. It's my gut feeling was they would, and now they have. So that's going to save a lot of money in lawyers' fees for a while.
And a lot of back and forth.
At least publicly.
All right. CDA is next month, and RCRA, I think, is next month. WRCOG.
WRCOG, so our meeting is, I'll report more on next time for exec, but we did have a change in our keynote speaker. Turns out that the fees were not exactly what we thought they were going to be for Mr. Costas. And so we kind of went back through the list of priorities set, and Jewel was our next one, who ended up being a little bit more than what we thought too. So there was some correction there for what her needs were to sign a contract. It trickled down to John Maxwell, who was within our price range, was willing to do the event. However, he had an event scheduled for that morning in Florida, and we do not want to chance it to try to get him on a plane and get him out here in time for our evening event on the same day. And so now we have moved down the list, and we have found out that he is also within price range, he is local, and he is available. And so now our keynote speaker is going to be our very own Southern California, Tony Hawk.
Oh, cool.
So, so I will be looking to my colleagues that if you have people, because with the Olympics coming, with his involvement with the skateboarding world, the X Games, his entrepreneur skills, his variety of different contracts and things, we're definitely looking for some very entertaining sponsors this year. And we should be able to strike kind of a different component with his involvement. And he is from Southern California, born and raised in San Diego. And so, and quite honestly, it was the only name on the list that my kid knew who it was. So, just saying. So,
Put a half pipe in the middle of the.
oh, okay,
That's
so,
what I'm
oh no,
thinking.
believe me, we got a
We need a
whole bunch of
demo.
ideas that
Yeah.
were coming forward. So, I will entertain any of your thoughts on skits and things, because now we probably can have a little bit of fun on how we're gonna do some stuff. So, that is where we're at with the speaker change, and I will keep you posted if there's anything else, but it sounds like we're gonna execute a contract with him, so we'll be able to fundraise with his name. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much. Sarah?
Was canceled, so.
Oh, what?
Didn't see that coming.
Okay, and Aqua.
And Aqua. So we did have our Region 9 board meeting last Friday. We discussed the up-and-coming event for November the 14th, which is the Regions 8, 9, and 10. We are gearing up and getting our speakers in play and trying to figure out who our keynote is. We were a little disappointed that Devin Apatier cannot be our speaker. He's in San Francisco at another thing, and so we couldn't get him to say no to them and come to us. So, so we're looking and we're making some shifts, but I hope that all of you are able to attend. It is going to be held down in Irvine at the Marriott, and certainly looking for sponsorships from agencies and such to promote this event. We are expecting an audience of probably 300 plus to be in attendance at this. So we do have some great speakers. One of the individuals, JB Hamby, is coming, and so is Bill Hastingcamp to talk about Colorado River issues. So that ought to be a very interesting subject and topic. And Bill Hastingcamp, obviously, is a Metropolitan employee, but he is definitely been dubbed the guru of all things Colorado River. And so if you ever wanted to know anything about the Colorado River or had a burning question over it, he is definitely the guy in the room to answer that question. Bill, I think, has spent a significant portion of his career talking about Colorado River issues. So that is what we have coming up. And then obviously we've got the Aqua conference that will be in December. So please let staff know in Tammy to make reservations and whatnot down there. It is being held at the Sheraton down in San Diego on Harbor Island. So we are looking to have a Region 9 mixer while we are down there and trying to plan that. We've heard from our membership that they would kind of like to get together and know who other Region 9 members are. And so we're trying to see how we can facilitate that and figure out how we can carve out a little space to make something like that happen. And I will keep you posted on those details. And that is all I have for Aqua.
Okay. You've been a busy lady.
Man, I tell you, I'm on vacation, you guys. So.
We'll move into director comments. Director Torres.
Yes, thank you. Just very quickly, you know, we all attended the, not all, a lot of us attended the AB 1234 training last Monday. I think we're in compliance. I am. There was supposed to be a RAC meeting there wasn't supposed to be a RAC meeting, but there was not a RAC meeting last week. I'm guessing it's coming up soon. I know there was some items that were supposed to be discussed around this time in the fall. Want to wish everyone a happy Labor Day. It's coming up, and I like it because it's the reason we have weekends and 40-hour work weeks. But I did want to just take a, I guess, personal moment. Had a death in the family a couple weeks ago, and his name is Dave Slocum. He was my neighbor growing up, but someone I considered a second dad. Just a little bit about Dave. He had a wonderful wife, second mom. He had, she's still alive, and two daughters. Two of them, best friends growing up. One of them is who I consider a sister, and her kids, my nieces. But Dave actually directed the mechanics program at RCC. So the reason I felt compelled to bring it up is that if we have any mechanics or at the county or anyone that was trained and certified at RCC, they probably went through Dave's program. And the services are today, but I wanted just to take a moment to say that he is sincerely missed, and just thank you for your time, and I feel incredibly honored to have shared time and space with someone as amazing as Dave Slocum. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Torres. Director Rizzi?
Director Denson and I will be heading to San Diego for Urban Water Conference today, and we will report for the following meeting. That's about it. Thank you.
All right. Director Gardner?
I have nothing.
Okay. Director Denstead?
I don't have anything, but I do have a request for future agenda items whenever you're ready for that.
Okay. I would just say under my comments, happy Labor Day. I can't believe it took like 5 minutes to get from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Just, that's crazy.
Yeah,
And holidays are right around the corner.
right.
So, got to be ready for all that adventure. And now, request for future agenda items.
Okay, so one of the things that I did not discuss with my Metropolitan report is there was some significant actions taken over the islands for Metropolitan, and some leasing agreements for some rice farming and things like that. So the Delta Islands. So Metropolitan owns 4 islands up in the deltas, and so my future request is perhaps we need to have a conversation. Let me transition. Perhaps we need to have a little conversation and invite somebody from Metropolitan to do an overview of what the islands mean to us at Metropolitan, what these leasing agreements mean, carbon offsets, the wetlands presentation. I know everybody's got their little pens out. But, to try to kind of have a little conversation, because this is going to be a topic. Metropolitan is going to, one of the directors asked for an overview of all of the circumstances of the islands and what benefits and offsets and credits and variety of different things that are going on, so that we're not piecemealing it and so that we understand how they all come together. So I think it would be beneficial for us to understand what it means to us, because it is going to play a part with DCP and a lot of different things that are moving and shaking up there. So,
We'll reach out to Metropolitan staff and see when
Yeah.
the best time is to bring it back to committee or board.
No, I think probably board, if you can do something quick, and I think it's good that the public be a part of that and understand and hear what the thought process is and the money that was spent, because they own the islands, what their value is, what, not just for the real estate component, but for other things, and how that's going to play into some decision-making and some direction that we take. So I think it's just kind of good to get an understanding and an overview, because I've gotten a lot over the last 4 years on the islands, and there's some controversy that's come out of that too. And so I think it's good for my colleagues to understand what that means. Yes, for sure.
Okay.
And that's
Anyone
all.
else? Future agenda items? No? Okay. We have 3 information items that you can peruse at your leisure. And our next meeting is Wednesday, September 3rd, right here at 9:30. And if there's nothing else, we will stand adjourned.